Small Texas town lay in ruins after the flood's merciless onslaught, leaving Eli Thompson standing in his garage, surrounded by debris and despair. Sunlight struggled to break through the thick clouds overhead, casting a muted light on the remnants of lives once full of promise. The air was saturated with a sense of lingering sorrow. A crackling radio perched atop a cluttered workbench emitted somber news reports, detailing the devastation that had swept through the town. Collapsed homes, lost pets, families left searching for hope. Each word struck Eli like a hammer, tightening the knot of helplessness in his stomach. He felt the weight of their grief settle into his chest, a palpable reminder of the pain that surrounded him. The familiar sense of motor oil and grease, once comforting, now felt suffocating in the silence. Eli looked around his garage, a sanctuary for so many years, transformed into a tomb of unfulfilled dreams. Hope had washed away with the floodwaters, leaving a void he didn't know how to fill. As he surveyed the chaos, his gaze fell on a dusty box crammed into a corner. Curiosity pulled him closer. He rifled through the contents and unearthed an old record, George Strait's greatest hits. The sight sent a jolt through him, evoking memories of his mother singing along with great joy, with his father's presence looming just beyond the edges of his memory. With trembling hands, he placed the record on the turntable, the needle crackling as it settled into the groove. The beautiful twang of George Strait's voice flooded the garage, filling the air with warm harmonies that soothed his troubled heart. Memories of childhood swept over him, joyful days spent in the sun, laughter shared around family gatherings. In that moment, he felt the music weave a tapestry of resilience from the fabric of his past. But the harmony was quickly tainted by the stark reality of the present. Eli's joy battled against the despair that consumed the town, leaving him feeling trapped in a harsh dichotomy. The joyful notes clashed with the pain that surrounded him, a stark reminder that hope seemed a distant dream. In a rush of clarity, an idea sparked in his mind. What if he organized a concert? Could he rally the townsfolk to unite in music, to heal through the power of togetherness? The thought ignited something deep within him, a stirring of determination to inspire his community. As the music played on, Eli envisioned neighbors coming together, their voices blending in harmony, laughter breaking the spell of sorrow. This concert could be their lifeline, a way to breathe life back into their community. Resolved, Eli stood, pushing aside the weight of self-doubt. The shadows of despair would not hold him captive any longer. He took a deep breath, stepping out of the familiar walls of his garage into a world yearning for renewal. The sun broke through the clouds, bathing the landscape in a warm glow, infusing the scene with a sense of hope. Eli pressed forward, ready to transform his vision into reality. The question lingered in his mind like a melody. Could music truly mend broken hearts and communities? It was a question that would guide him, igniting his determination to find the answer. Eli stood at the weathered entrance of Thompson's garage, a space that once felt alive with the constant hum of engines and the comforting clatter of tools. As he leaned against the doorframe, the dampness of the air struck him, a reminder of the flood's wake. He closed his eyes, letting memories flood in like the waters that had so recently breached the town's barriers. In the depths of his mind, gentle images unfolded. He was a child again, standing beside his mother in their modest living room, sunlight casting lazy patterns on the wooden floorboards. The radio played softly, a backdrop to weekends spent working together, fixing old furniture and humming along to country classics. A glimmer of happiness sparkled amidst the remembrance, a stark contrast to the sorrow that now weighed heavily on him. "Eli, sweetheart, music is the heart of our home," his mother had often said with a warm smile, her voice a soft caress. She taught him that even amidst hardship, music could be a source of strength, a balm for the soul. It was during those moments that Eli dreamed of becoming a musician just like his father, a man he barely remembered, but whose melodic voice lingered in the air like echoing notes from a forgotten song. As he opened his eyes, the stark reality of his childhood returned, tethering him to the present. His father's departure had captured those dreams in a box, forgotten and neglected, like a dusty record left unwound. Eli felt the sharp pang of abandonment, a ghost haunting his aspirations. He often wondered if his father's absence had cast the deepest shadows of self-doubt upon him, a lingering fear of rejection that clung to every ambition he harbored. Driven by nostalgia, he He shifted his focus to the town's festivals, those small gatherings filled with laughter and joy, where neighbors celebrated community spirit. Eli remembered how the streets lit up with music, children dancing, families gathering. Those were his favorite days, where he watched local talents take the stage, including Maria Gonzalez, his best friend, whose voice could charm even the grumpiest of souls. In those moments, he learned what it meant to come together as a community, to share in each other's stories through song. A memory surged forward, simple yet profound, his mother encouraging him before he stepped on stage one summer evening. "You've got a voice in that heart of yours, Eli. Let it out." She beamed with pride, and although fear trembled within him, he stepped forward, singing only a few lines before laughter and applause enveloped him. That moment ignited a love for performance that had lain dormant since. Yet, as Eli stood in the aftermath of the flood, the vibrancy of those memories felt impossibly distant. His dreams of music had faded, overshadowed by a life focused on survival, on fixing broken cars instead of broken hearts. It was so easy to drown in discouragement, to forget the promise of connection that music offered. As his thoughts ebbed and flowed, a knock at the garage door drew him back to reality. Eli turned to find Maria standing there, her hair glistening in the sunlight, a warm smile brightening her face. "Hey, stranger, heard the news about you wanting to organize a concert." "Yeah, just an idea." Eli trailed off, unsure of himself. She stepped inside, the familiar comfort of her presence a balm to his doubts. "It's a great idea. This town needs something to lift its spirits. I want to help." Maria's enthusiasm was infectious, and for the first time in days, Eli felt a flicker of hope. They reminisced about past performances, how playing together had once brought him so much joy and had forged a connection between them. "If I can sing again," she said, determination gleaming in her eyes. "It could help both of us, Eli." Maria reaching for his arm, her grip firm and reassuring. "We have to believe that music can heal. It starts with us." The conversation quickly blossomed into discussions of logistics, who could perform, how to gather interest, and what the concert could look like. In the weeks that followed, Eli and Maria dove into planning. They contacted local musicians, gathered names of those willing to share their voices and stories. He rediscovered his childhood love for music each time they rehearsed together, the bonds of friendship growing stronger amid the clinking of a guitar and the cadence of their laughter. Meanwhile, Eli began to see the beauty of resilience in the community around him. People were coming together, offering their skills and talents. Nora Jenkins, the town matriarch, had volunteered her sewing expertise to create promotional materials. Over a cup of tea in her cozy living room, she shared tales of the townsfolk's struggle and triumphs throughout the years, weaving a rich tapestry of history and perseverance that left Eli with a newfound sense of purpose. Listening to Nora's wisdom further renewed him. It was as if he were gathering the threads of hope that had been left frayed and forgotten. As spring took hold and the thawing ground erupted with blooms, the atmosphere around Eli shifted. The optimism flowed through him like a spring breeze, carrying with it a vivid sense of renewal. The concert morphed from a mere idea into an event that had the potential to change everything, a shared foundation building collective healing. That night, Eli gazed out at the stars, still reflecting on the songs of his past, feeling a change stirring within himself. The shadows of doubt began to lighten as the energies of the past, present, and future entwined like notes in a melody. Eli Thompson was starting to believe that together they could raise their voices against despair once more. As the days crept closer to the concert, the initial euphoria began to wane, replaced by an unsettling heaviness in Eli's heart. The posters plastered across town, once vibrant with hope, now felt like reminders of a dream that might never come to fruition. Despite the planning and enthusiasm, waves of doubt crashed against his resolve. One evening, as they rehearsed in the garage, the weight of uncertainty pressed down on him. Eli paused mid-strum, gazing at the floor. "What if nobody shows up?" he finally voiced, his voice barely above a whisper. Maria put her guitar down, concern shadowing her features. "Eli, you've seen the community come together. They want this just like we do." "Want it?" Eli muttered, shaking his head. "Or feel obligated to show up?" He turned away, the frustrations boiling just beneath the surface. That night, as raindrops splattered against his window, Eli couldn't shake the dense fog of loneliness that enveloped him. Memories flitted through his mind, his mother singing softly to him. The warmth of family gatherings contrasted sharply with his current solitude. He sat in the dim light, staring at the box of photographs he had opened weeks before. Each picture whispered stories of joy, now rendered silent. As days turned into a blur and clouds cloaked the town, Eli found himself withdrawing once more. Several rehearsals passed with him, unable to shake the looming shadow of doubt. What if I fail them, he thought, wrestling with the sinking feeling that perhaps he wasn't the leader they needed. Maria sensed his withdrawal but couldn't draw him out. "Eli, you're quiet. Talk to me," she urged one afternoon. He rubbed the back of his neck, unsure how to verbalize his turmoil. "I don't know, Maria. What if we put in all this effort and no one cares?" She crossed her arms, eyes fierce with determination. "People will care. Look around. Life is rushing back into this town, and we're part of that. It's not about numbers, it's about heart." "But what if my heart can't handle it?" he said, feelings of inadequacy washing over him like the rain battering the garage roof. One gloomy afternoon, Eli peered out at the rain-soaked world beyond his garage. Children were splashing through puddles, the laughter breaking through the somber air. They were too young to carry the burdens he grappled with. Struck by their spirit, Eli strolled to the door, watching them from a distance. Jenny, a neighborhood girl, caught his eye. "Hey, Eli, we're going to put on a show too." Her voice was vibrant, her face alive with excitement, contagious in its innocence. Eli chuckled softly, feeling warmth return to his chest. He stepped closer to them, inviting their chaotic joy. "What kind of show?" "We're a band," she exclaimed, her pigtails bouncing as she struck a mock rock star pose. The children were unrestrained in their enthusiasm, putting on a spontaneous performance that reminded Eli of the carefree days he had almost forgotten. That moment ignited a flicker of inspiration inside him. While walking back, he picked up his guitar, strumming softly. The storm clouds swirling around his mind began to dissipate. Music was still here. The connection remained, and those children reminded him of the joy woven into their struggles. As thunder rumbled in the distance, Eli returned to the garage, fingers dancing over the strings. The melody flowed like water, and with each chord he felt his burdens begin to lift. It was a simple acknowledgement. Music connected them all, stitching holes left by pain and separation. In the days that followed, Eli regained his footing. He reached out to neighbors again, infused with determination. He rallied the enthusiasm they shared and faced the fears that had threatened to consume him. The children's laughter echoed in his heart, driving him to embrace the very vulnerability he once shied away from. That evening, Eli sat beneath the stars, his guitar cradled in his arms. A lingering sense of renewal filled the air. As he looked at the darkened sky, he knew something had shifted inside him. The concert wasn't about validation or numbers. It was a platform for voices to emerge from shadows. It was a testament to resilience, not just his, but of a community refusing to stay silent. With each passing moment, Eli grew more resolved. He was ready to step into the light, guitar in hand, heart open to whatever came next. Though fear whispered its doubts, he now embraced the idea that everyone needed a chance to be heard. Tomorrow, they'd take that stage together. Eli Thompson's heart, once filled with fear, now held the tender threads of hope, certainty intertwining with the song of resilience that echoed through the night. If you're ready to keep going, we can move to key, Block 4, the rebirth, or make any modifications you would like first. The sun rose bright and clear on the day of the concert, casting a golden glow over the small town of Oak Grove. Eli awoke with a flutter of excitement and a tinge of nervousness. He lay in bed for a moment, savoring the warmth of hope that thrummed in his veins. Today, everything he had fought for, the voices striving to be heard, would come alive under the sheltering sky. The air was thick with the scent of lilacs as he made his way through the familiar streets. Eli could hear the chatter of neighbors setting up, their laughter filtering through the crisp morning air, each sound knitting together the fabric of community spirit. This was not just his concert, it was theirs. Pulling into the town square, Eli's eyes widened in surprise. Colorful banners adorned the wooden structures, and a small stage had been erected. Local musicians gathered with their instruments, exchanging smiles and stories. It felt electric, a shared anticipation pulsing like a drumbeat in his ears. The children from the neighborhood flitted about, their excitement contagious, offering him bright smiles and high fives as if they were the stars of the show. "Eli!" Maria's voice pulled him from his thoughts. She breezed towards him, her hair pulled back in a vibrant bandana. "Look at all these people, you did it." "I did?" Eli replied, the joy blossoming on his face. "You did." She shoved a stack of programs into his hands, her enthusiasm infectious. "People are coming from all over. They want to be here, Eli. This means something to them." Exhaling slowly, Eli tried to calm his racing heart. "I didn't think it would go this far." "Believe it. You brought them together. We all did." Her eyes sparkled with pride, and for a moment, Eli felt like he could soar. As afternoon wore on, the anticipation grew. Vendors set up food stalls, families began to gather, and the townsfolk dressed in their Sunday best. Laughter rang out across the square, an orchestra of unrestrained joy. Eli noticed the elderly young couples, and even a few teens who had witnessed his moments of doubt with skepticism. Now they all mingled shoulder to shoulder, forming a bridge over old uncertainties. Feeling the winds of change wrap around him, Eli took a moment to gather his thoughts. He wandered toward the back of the stage where he could breathe, collect himself, and reflect on everything that had led him here. Memories of his mother's gentle encouragement surfaced, alongside the shadows of self-doubt and loneliness that now seemed a world away. "Eli!" Maria called, nudging him out of his thoughts. "It's almost time. You okay?" Nodding, Eli took a deep breath, feeling alive for the first time in years. "Yeah, this will be good." She squeezed his shoulder, an anchor in the rising tide of emotion. "Let's do it." As the sun dipped lower in the sky, bathing the square in golden hues, Eli took to the stage with Maria and the other performers. The sound of clapping erupted around him, echoing the heartbeat of the community. Suddenly, the crowd felt like an embrace, warm and encouraging, filling any lingering cracks in his spirit. The music began, a tender ballad that struck a chord deep within. Eli felt the healing pulse of their shared energy flow through him, drawing him beyond the fears that had chained him for so long. With every strum of his guitar, he shared snippets of their stories, the struggles, the laughter, the resilience that bound them all together. And then, something unexpected happened. Maria's voice broke through, soaring in a harmony that underscored the very essence of their journey. The crowd erupted with applause, and Eli could see smiles blooming across faces, each one a testament to unspoken pain transforming into joy. As their interactive set continued, Eli began to share anecdotes about the community and what the concert represented, a healing space for everyone. With each story, he broke the barrier between performer and audience, forging deeper connections. The stories flowed, laughter mingling with tears, a beautiful, unfiltered expression of humanity. As he transitioned into a song his mother had loved, Eli felt a swell of emotion. The words tumbled from his lips, each note enveloping him like a hug, the crowd singing along, their voices merging into one harmonized promise. They were not alone. A sense of validation washed over him, as if every moment of doubt, every struggling note had melted away beneath their unified sound. No longer was he merely Eli Thompson, the quiet boy grappling with uncertainty. He was a vessel for their collective healing, a reminder that music had the power to connect souls and mend broken hearts. As the final chords faded into the crowd's cheers, Eli stood at the edge of the stage, heart pounding with a sense of rebirth. The faces before him gleamed with joy and gratitude, and for the first time, he felt his spirit intertwining with something much larger than himself. After the performance, as revelers lingered to talk and share stories, Eli found himself enveloped in conversation. Each person expressed their gratitude, their pride in the community, and any fears they had harbored began to lift into the air, like balloons freeing themselves from tiny hands. In those moments, Eli realized that healing was not a solitary journey. It blossomed when hearts connected, when voices joined in harmony. As the night wore on, laughter bubbled into the starry sky, painted with the soft glow of string lights. Eli wandered to the edge of the gathering, watching the joyful scene unfold. It was a night filled with promise, possibility blossoming where despair had once lingered. The concert had become more than an event. It was a rebirth. In the embrace of the community, Eli Thompson discovered a deeper calling, a way to honor not just his own truth, but the truths of everyone around him. Music had illuminated the path ahead, guiding him into the light, forging connections from the shadows. Eli's heart swelled with gratitude as he stepped into his new role, not just as a musician, but as a connector of souls, a steward of healing, and a beacon of hope within a community that would carry these lights forward. In that moment he understood, music could indeed mend broken hearts, and together they were now stronger than any storm. As the echoes of the concert lingered in the crisp night air, Eli woke up the following morning with a sense of longing that didn't quite fit the joy he felt. The world outside was bathed in a soft golden light, still smiling from the night before, but Eli's heart carried a weight he could not shake. There was a chasm between the electrifying night of music he had shared and the quiet realities of life that awaited him. Sitting at his kitchen table, the remnants of celebration still scattered around, the tips of colorful programs, half-empty cups, Eli couldn't help but feel that daybreak came too soon. While the town thrummed with the pulse of renewal, he felt a pull toward the shadows that had once held him captive. The applause, the cheers, the hugs shared with neighbors had sparked something alive within him, yet a whisper of uncertainty crept back in while he stared at the barely touched plate of toast before him. He grabbed his guitar and strolled outside, the soft sunlight wrapping around him. Strumming a few chords, he allowed his thoughts to drift back to the moments that had brought him here. The laughter, the stories, and the intangible bond shared with his community were extraordinary, but beneath it all, a deep-seated grief settled in his stomach, grief for his past, for the silence he had endured alone. Maria appeared on his porch, her presence as bright as the morning sun. "Hey there, musician, you look deep in thought." "Just reflecting," he said with a faint smile, setting the guitar in his lap. "I thought the concert would resolve everything, but it feels like I'm still fighting something inside." Maria stepped closer, leaning against the porch railing. "You're allowed to carry those feelings, Eli. This isn't some magic spell that takes everything away. You can feel joy and grief at the same time. It's part of being human." Her words hung in the air, settling in the cracks of his heart. "I thought everything would change," he murmured. "I thought this," he gestured to the vibrant town bustling with life, "would mean I'd finally be free of my past." "Eli." She stepped forward, her tone gentle but firm. "You don't have to erase the past to embrace the future. They coexist. Just like music, every note, every silence, every feeling adds depth to the song." "I don't know how to let go," he replied, sadness lacing his voice. "Then don't try to let go. Just learn to carry it with you." Her sincerity poured warmth into his heart. "You're right. I want to forgive myself for the time I lost." Together, they decided to visit the town's community center, where the remnants of their concert still echoed in painted smiles and laughter that buoyed the atmosphere. Eli's thoughts began to shift as he walked through the familiar halls. Each painting, each photograph reminded him of the lives entangled in his story. They entered the room where a group was setting up a new community initiative. Old faces mingled with new. All around, Eli marveled at the shared energy. The spirit of togetherness solidified as families gathered around, eager to rediscover the joys of community. "Look at all these people," Maria said with a sense of wonder. "You see, it doesn't end with one concert. This is just the beginning." Taking a deep breath, Eli approached a table where older residents crafted decorations for future gatherings. He joined them, sharing recipes and memories of growing up in Oak Grove. Laughter bubbled up between them as they exchanged stories of love, loss, and hope. But then, when silence swept through the table like a shadow, Eli felt the urge to speak. "You all know how music is intertwined with our lives, right? It brings us together, but it also carries memories that can weigh heavy." Nora Jenkins, the town matriarch, looked up, her eyes thoughtful. "That's the point, dear. Every challenge, every heartache, it all becomes part of who you are. You're not meant to forget those chapters. They make the story richer. The music just helps you find a voice in it all." The conversation reminded Eli of the concert, how the joy and pain fused into something beautiful. This was a melody he wished to embrace, even if it felt discordant at times. As days passed, Eli found himself drawn back to the guitar, letting the notes guide him through layers of emotion. With each practice session, he invited memories to flow in and out, crafting new songs forged through fragments of heartbreak and love, joy and sorrow. It was messy, but in its chaos lay a form of healing. Maria often accompanied him, finding new harmonies alongside Eli's confessions. Together they created a series of songs and stories that spoke of loss, resilience, and the infinite dance between pain and joy. Yet, the struggle didn't dissolve into an easy resolution. At times, as the songs ebbed and flowed, Eli wrestled with memories that still haunted him. The faces of those he had lost loomed in his mind as a reminder of his own fragility. He knelt next to the guitar one night, fingers brushing against the strings as tears fell against the wood. "Why is it so hard? Why can't I just let it go?" he murmured to himself. But the notes began to take form, echoing his pain and mingling it with the sounds of the present. He realized that he didn't need to let go. He needed to embrace. It was in the acknowledgement of his past that the beauty of healing would shine through. With each song composed, the melodies became lighter, the harmonies more vibrant. Eli's heart began to surface, not as a vessel of unhealed wounds, but as a platform where vulnerability intertwined with resilience. In a final act of courage, he decided to open up about his journey at the next community gathering. The night arrived, filled with anticipation. Eli stood before friends, family, and neighbors. Swallowing his fear, he shared not only their music, but every ounce of truth he had guarded for so long. "Music has the power to connect us all," Eli began, his heart racing. "But it also reveals the scars we carry. I've learned that I can't erase the pain or the regret, but in sharing those emotions, I find freedom." As he played his new songs, he noticed faces light up, eyes glistening with understanding and connection. They were all there with him, navigating their journeys together. When the final note faded, applause erupted, but it wasn't the applause that resonated in Eli's heart. It was the solace of discovery, the understanding that healing comes from not only articulating love, joy, and loss, but also through accepting them as part of our own song. With this newfound revelation, Eli Thompson stood among his community, hearts entwined as they crafted a melody of resilience and hope. He no longer needed to let go. He would carry the echoes of the past with him, not as burdens, but as a testament to the beauty of life's complexities. The months that followed Eli's heartfelt performance bloomed with color and purpose. The seasons shifted from the fading warmth of summer into the crisp embrace of autumn, and Oak Grove became a canvas painted with warm reds, golds, and browns. Each leaf that fell seemed to echo Eli's journey, an acceptance of change, of shedding burdens, and welcoming new beginnings. Eli immersed himself in music, forming deeper connections with the community as the songs he crafted began to reflect the collective spirit of resilience. He felt the chords in his guitar resonate with the laughter and stories shared over warm meals and open porches. One evening during a potluck at Nora's home, he watched as townsfolk gathered around tables, their voices blending into a beautiful cacophony. The air was thick with laughter and the aroma of seasoned dishes filling his senses with comfort. Eli couldn't help but think of the warmth and strength this community offered. It was a stark contrast to the loneliness he once carried. "Nora, this is amazing," Eli said, tending to the food spread on the table. "I can't thank you enough for bringing everyone together like this." Nora waved her hand dismissively, as if the sentiment was too humble for her efforts. "Eli, my boy, it's not me. It's the love we share, a love that fuels everything. And you, my dear, are becoming a part of that fuel." Tears pooled in Eli's eyes as he looked at her. "I'm just learning to embrace all the parts of me, the good and the bad." Nora leaned in closer, her aging hands resting gently on his arm. "Every story you carry enriches your spirit. You must remember that the more you share, the brighter your light will shine." As he carried her words with him, Eli began to understand that sharing his story did not merely bring him comfort, it allowed others to open up about their own hidden sorrows. Inspired, he organized weekly song circles at the community center, welcoming anyone willing to share their own melodies and tales. The circles became sacred moments, each gathering bubbling with creativity and solidarity. People found courage to stand up and perform their songs, filling the air with a blend of sorrow and joy that resonated deeply with Eli. One such evening, as autumn winds howled outside, a hesitant young man named Leo walked in, his hands shoved deep into his pockets. Eli noticed his downcast eyes as he took stock of the gathering. Recognizing a familiar pain, he stepped forward. "Hey, I'm Eli. You're welcome to share if you feel comfortable." "I can't," Leo muttered, his voice barely above a whisper. "I don't have anything worth sharing." "Trust me, everyone has a story," Eli replied, inviting Leo to sit down. "This place is meant for healing." As the evening unfolded, Eli played a couple of his songs, the audience responding with claps and encouragement. With each note, Leo's tension softened. He slowly pulled his hands from his pockets and at last found his voice. He shared a haunting melody, woven with threads of loss and yearning. Silence fell upon the room, a silence that held the weight of understanding. For the first time, Leo felt the validation of those around him. Tears stained his cheeks when he finished. The audience erupted into applause, and Eli saw Leo's face shift from hesitation to raw amazement, as if the music had freed something buried deep within him. Eli smiled, knowing the impact of vulnerability was creating waves of change in the community. "See?" Eli said later when Leo approached him, still riding the wave of emotion. "You have a story inside you, a beautiful piece of yourself that needed to be heard. Music has a way of connecting our scattered pieces." "I can't believe I did that," Leo replied, disbelief coursing through him. I felt lighter." "That's the magic of sharing," Eli said with a nod. "You're never alone in this. We're all pieces of an intricate puzzle, each story adding depth and texture." As winter began to blanket the town, Eli's connection with the community continued to deepen. Together, they planned a winter concert, the culmination of all their shared stories. This time it wasn't just about healing. It was about celebrating the resilience and strength that had blossomed from their vulnerabilities. In the weeks leading to the concert, Eli found himself weaving Leo's journey into a new song, a collective anthem of hope and healing. He encouraged everyone to speak about what they would like to contribute, a collection of voices ready to amplify their struggles and triumphs together. One crisp evening, Eli found solace sitting on his porch with his guitar, the sky unfurling above him like a tapestry of stars. He strummed soft melodies, reflecting on how much he had gained since the darkness that once consumed him. With every chord, he embraced the beauty of accepting all emotions, the warmth of love, the sting of loss, the joy of being alive in this moment. For the first time, Eli let go of the snare of regret holding him captive. He turned his gaze towards the moonlit sky, whispering a silent promise. He would honor the past while embracing self-growth. He had learned that the essence of music and community would be his guiding stars. On the night of the winter concert, the community hall was adorned with twinkling lights, transforming the space into a cozy haven. Friends, family, and newcomers filled the seats, the air buzzing with anticipation. Eli stood backstage, heart pounding, not from fear, but from the electricity of shared purpose. As the first notes rippled through the air, Eli took a step onto the stage, greeted by a wave of applause, an acknowledgement not just of his music, but of the journey they had all taken together. Each artist shared their songs in a tapestry of sound and emotion, creating a symphony of resilience that reverberated in the hearts of everyone present. It was in that moment, surrounded by those he loved, that Eli realized the true power of healing through music, unity in vulnerability, where the past mingled with the present to craft something radiant. Eli Thompson had embraced his past, and through it discovered not just his own light but a beacon of hope for others. He understood that every song told a story, stories born from healing interwoven into the very fabric of their existence. As the winter concert drew to a close, the applause rang loud and clear, echoing off the walls like a promise, the promise of continued growth, connection, and love that would unfurl into the future, forever intertwining their lives in a beautiful, unyielding melody. The echo of applause lingered in Eli's ears long after the winter concert had ended. The community hall shimmered with the warmth of twinkling lights, and laughter filled the air, a testament to the connections forged through shared stories and music. Each face he saw reflected the resilience they had built together, a vibrant tapestry of emotions ready to be woven deeper. As the months passed, Eli felt invigorated by the collective healing. With the arrival of spring, he decided to create a series of songwriting workshops at the community center, inviting neighbors to share their stories through music. The first gathering drew a handful of participants, hesitant yet hopeful. "Welcome, everyone," Eli began, his voice steady yet warm. "Here we'll find our voices together. There's no right or wrong way to express what's in your heart." As they shared their thoughts, laughter and tears emerged, emotions flowing freely in the supportive atmosphere Eli had cultivated. He noticed that with each participant's contribution, the room transformed into a sanctuary for growth, where the complexities of pain and joy danced in harmony. One evening, Leo, a once timid young man, stepped forward, clutching his guitar. "I wrote something," he announced, uncertainty tinging his voice. When he played, Eli felt the raw honesty in Leo's lyrics, an echo of their shared struggles and triumphs resonating with everyone present. As Leo finished, the room erupted in applause. Eli witnessed the shift in Leo's demeanor, the way his eyes sparkled with newfound confidence. With a smile, Eli pulled him aside afterward. "You've come so far, my friend. Your voice matters." "I can't believe I did that," Leo admitted, the disbelief evident. "Thank you for making this possible." As the weeks turned into months, Eli's workshops attracted more participants. Each meeting breathed life into Oak Grove, weaving a stronger bond among those who dared to share their truth. They became a family, uniting through songwriting, laughter, and healing. With spring's arrival, excitement filled the air for the upcoming local festival. Eli proposed a community concert, showcasing the many songs and stories born from their gatherings. The response was overwhelming. Neighbors rallied together, eager to contribute to something greater than themselves. On the night of the festival, Eli looked out at the sea of smiling faces gathered in the park. This was not merely a concert, it was a celebration of their shared journey. As the music filled the air, he marveled at how far they had come, from individual struggles to a collective expression of hope. With every note played, Eli felt a profound sense of belonging. Each participant stood tall on stage, confident in their storytelling as the audience cheered them on. The beauty of vulnerability surrounded them, a reminder that, together, they were more than the sum of their collective experiences. As the final song reached its crescendo, Eli stepped forward to speak, his heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you for sharing your stories," he said, his voice trembling with emotion. "We've embraced our past together, and in doing so, we're creating a future filled with love and understanding." With the concert's conclusion came a wave of applause, ringing out like a collective heartbeat, echoing the promise of continued growth and connection. Eli felt an unbreakable bond with the community, with the friends he had come to cherish, a family forged through music, and the courage to embrace their stories. In that moment, surrounded by familiar faces, Eli knew he had become more than just a musician. He was a connector of souls, a beacon of hope in a world that could be heavy with shadows. Together, they had turned their struggles into melodies, forging a brighter path ahead. With each note of music, Eli Thompson embraced the beautiful complexity of life, one story, one song at a time, steadfast in the belief that their shared journey was only just beginning.